With all the drama that unfolded at the front end of the grid at the Hungaroring this weekend, it was pretty easy to miss out on some enthralling storylines further back in the field. Not only is this season getting massively spicy at the front end of the grid, with the 2024 championship having 7 winners and counting for the first time since 2012, which is a pretty good sign given how thrilling that season was, but the rest of the field behind those winners is heating up as well. One of the title protagonists from 2012 is currently at the center of an internal conflict at a team, being sold promises that clearly aren't being achieved and starting to get furious about it. Oh, and what's worse? He got massively screwed at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it appears that the gloves are well and truly off. Want to know why Fernando Alonso might burn his final bridge in Formula 1? Whether it's his or the team's fault, we'll let you decide. But my oh my, could this get 2015 McLaren levels of messy? And stick around, because it's not just Aston Martin that could suffer the wrath of Alonso, as another team is on the brink of pushing away a driver of their own. So everyone will be well aware of and probably sick of hearing about McLaren's team order fiasco. Everyone's got an opinion about if Lando seceding the place to his teammate was right or wrong, both morally and in regards to the championships, but at the end of the day, it maintained peace and a productive atmosphere between the two sides of the Papaya garage. For us, we think that Lando did the right thing for the team in the right way for him, by keeping harmony, by staying true to the team's instructions, while also leaving it as late as possible, gapping his teammate and asserting his place as the fastest driver at the team, though he really needs to work on his race starts, as that second phase is consistently letting him down. Now, if we know that you're sick of hearing about the McLaren drama, which wasn't even the most dramatic thing of the weekend, and I'd hesitate to even call it a drama in the first place, then why are we bothering to bring it up? Well, it's because there was an example of what happens in a less harmonious garage further down the field, and the fury in the garage is palpable. So what exactly happened? Well, in the latter stages of the race, Fernando Alonso let his teammate, Lance Stroll, past in an attempt to catch Yuki Tsunoda up in P9. Sadly for Aston Martin, the realms of the lower points positions is currently where they belong in the pecking order, with P9 and P10 being a realistic maximizing of the car's potential outside of any retirements ahead of them in the field. Alonso was informed by his engineer that, if his Canadian teammate failed to catch the V-carb ahead, the positions would be swapped back and Alonso's hard-earned P10 would be reinstated to him. While currently in a no-man's land of points, Aston Martin are in a very similar position to Red Bull, where an early season advantage is being diminished by the closing pack of Haas and V-carb, so every point is precious. Not only that, but the teammates have been far closer this year than in previous seasons, with them often qualifying and finishing next to each other. However, Alonso is still firmly ahead in the Drivers' Championship and would have been double the points of Stroll if the positions were returned. Not only that, but Stroll would have only been a single point ahead of both Haas's Nico Hülkenberg and the aforementioned Yuki Tsunoda instead of the 2-point buffer he has now created. However, how he created that gap is a point of much contention. Having failed to catch Tsunoda, Lance was delivered this message from his engineer, Andrew Vizard, in the closing laps of the race. Now, you need to switch back before the line. Fernando is 4 seconds behind you, there's no pressure behind. Which was met with silence. Lance, I suggest you drop back, let Fernando pass, he's 4 seconds back. Yet again, more silence before crossing the line and receiving a confirmation of him taking the checkered flag. At least Stroll's charisma doesn't just appear in interviews, eh? And while neither driver directly addressed this after the race, Alonso was clearly furious about the way that the race was executed, and just remember, this is Fernando Alonso we're talking about here. He's not exactly just going to take a slight from his teammate like this laying down. Alonso was more holistic with his frustrations as he crossed the line with him saying, "I don't want to know, my friend. We've lost the race to everyone." Which to us does sound like he doesn't want to hear anything about the position swap due to the fact that he felt so screwed regardless of what his teammate decided to do. The strategy that the team went for did ask an awful lot of Alonso, who realistically saw the fact that he pitted so early and had to nurse the tyres, limiting him in the early stages, as being the reason he had to let Stroll past in the first place, no matter what Stroll then did with that position. Talking after the race, the Spaniard was very critical of the pit wall's decision-making, saying, "I think the strategy was not the right one today. Obviously now after the race, easy to say. I think we stopped on lap 7, and then from that point, 63 laps with 1 medium, 1 hard was a little bit optimistic. So not a great pace, and the strategy didn't help." And even the man who benefited most off of the strategy agreed with Alonso, with Stroll airing his frustrations with his own strategy, as well as implying that something within the car made the race harder for the team due to increased tyre degradation compared to other teams around them, and he's not the only man in the team critical of this year's car. Surprise, surprise, Fernando Alonso hasn't been quiet about an underperforming car. Shock horror. Last month, Alonso went as far as to say that the racing car was painful and the prospect of the upcoming races were equally painful, and made sure to state that he would stay optimistic and positive during these tough times that the team are in. Well, it seems that Hungary was the race where the positivity ran out, and we really can't blame Fernando. Not only is your teammate doing you dirty, but you finished 4th in the Drivers' Championship last year, scoring 206 points with 8 podium finishes, getting painfully close to win number 33 in a rollercoaster career. This year, they're in a no man's land, with Alonso in 9th, with 8th place being entirely unreachable, and with the team in 5th and falling backwards if anything. So it's a pretty grim scenario for Fernando, who signed a contract extension with the team which may prove to be his final contract. What I'm about to say is going to sound harsh, but stick with me here. Fernando Alonso was tricked by the honeypot car that was the 2023 Aston Martin. The team throughout their entire history has never successfully built a truly competitive car of their own, with the only successful cars being copies of last year's dominant vehicles, to the extent where they were colloquially known as the Pink Mercedes and the Green Bull. While yes, team principal Mike Crack has certainly improved things at the team, for as long as they have existed, they've only succeeded as magpies and nothing more, stealing the shiny parts from other teams and hodgepodging the rest, having strong starts and then dropping back through the season. However, as critical as I'm being, there is hope that this may change, but it might not be Fernando Alonso experiencing it. Honda's introduction to the team as an engine manufacturer, as they managed to find a way to steal even more from Red Bull, could revolutionize the team, with the Japanese engine manufacturer coming off the back of a dominant spree with Red Bull and having a deep and illustrious history of partnering championship-winning teams. However, with this industry power comes great expectations of their own, with them being particularly enthusiastic about using drivers from their program, or at the very least, having a strong Japanese presence with the team's marketing. Now, while this has led to some pretty legendary partnerships in the past, I mean, everything touched by Ayrton Senna during his time with McLaren Honda was legendary, from Dragon Ball Z to that ethereal Honda NSX video around Suzuka. It has also led to some pretty disastrous collaborations, such as the previous one they held with Fernando Alonso at McLaren. While Honda have so far been passive in regards to their influence, claiming that they trust the team to make the driver decisions, they're likely biding their time, as Alonso can't keep racing forever, or more realistically will get annoyed or annoy the team to the extent where he burns yet another bridge and leaves the team. A frustrated Alonso won't stick around for long, especially with the looming regulations looking slower and him taking so long to decide on his future earlier on this year, though that may well have been more gamesmanship from the Spaniard. At the same time, Honda driver Yuki Tsunoda is getting further disillusioned with his current team, with him being firmly at the bottom of the pile in regards to who would replace Sergio Perez if he were to be dropped, behind Ricciardo, who he is beating, and even behind junior drivers if rumor is to be believed. If you think for a second that Honda wouldn't exert their influence if Aston Martin get frustrated enough with Alonso and attempts to bring in their current F1 hopeful, who they've poured years of resources into and is now approaching half a decade of experience, then I'm afraid you're huffing pure copium. Alonso isn't sticking around forever, and Aston Martin have given him nothing but reasons to walk away so far this year, whether due to his belligerent and yet untouchable teammates, or due to their shortcomings both technically or strategically. So, what do you think? Can Aston Martin bounce back? And if they do, will Fernando Alonso actually be there to take his 33rd win? Or will he potentially have to look elsewhere to fulfill it? I mean, there is an opening at a certain Brackley-based team for a short-term deal in what could be a championship competing car next year. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.